I kind of visualized a longer session. I have a few questions, but I'll start with the big one, which is, for me, relationships. I've come into your material, I think, a couple of years ago, but I've been practicing it a lot more since a few months. Focus wheels and all the stuff that Esther's been doing recently as well. I really got that and I got into it. And so I was in this relationship from March till about a week ago. And I thought I was evoking, my perfect relationship, but it didn't quite work out. And I kind of feel like I messed up a little bit, and I'd like to allow my perfect relationship. So I'd like some help with that.
Well, the most important thing to remember, and we talked about this earlier, is that in this, what feels like the problem part of life, you're actually in the process of creating the solution. So with that in mind, can you see how every relationship that doesn't work out puts a more perfect relationship over there for you?
Yes.
Does you get how that
Yes.
works? And there will be a time that once you figure out how to get into your vortex and remain there consistently, and therefore allow yourself to see the unfolding of the things that will bring you to your perfect relationship, that you will bless every one of those relationships that didn't go well, because this one couldn't be in the process of becoming so wonderful if it was not for those experiences that are causing you to know more clearly what you do want.
I get that, and I think part of it is me not becoming the person I've become, if you see what I mean. So it's about more
Well, for
me
sure
allowing
it is
my...
that. That's the easy part for us, because that's always true.
Yeah.
In other words, there's any time you want something that hasn't come, it's because you have some energy moving to do every single time, no exceptions, because the law of attraction is not making a mistake. You sometimes may be getting not what you want, but you are never getting not what you're offering vibrationally.
Yeah.
In other words, and so the best way to approach something like this, when a relationship has ended as recently as this one has, it's not common for the person that we are visiting with to be in the vicinity of the vortex on this subject. In other words, it's the wounds are too fresh, and the discomfort is too strong, and so a conversation about it, in other words, we could possibly bring you kicking and screaming into the vortex with enough focus wheeling. But what we really want you to do is let that go. Don't work on the relationship thing now. Okay. It's too fresh and it's too active outside the vortex. Instead, use everything that is working as your reason to go into the vortex. Now, this is something that most people don't get. People will often, they will sit here and they will say, well, this part of my life is perfect, and this part is perfect, and this part is perfect, and this part is perfect, but what I want to talk about, my issue, is this. And we say, if we focus with you on the issue, on the one not yet working part, then we take the part of your life that isn't working and we use it as the excuse to stay outside the vortex longer. Where you could take any part of your life that is working, use it as your excuse to stay in the vortex, and when you're in the vortex, then all of the things that you put there relative to relationships, you then have easy access to. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Before it can make sense to you, you have to accept these following accurate premises. So here are the premises that you have to accept before that makes sense to you. First, you have to accept the reality of this vibrational reality. You have to accept that it is a real thing and that it is your future in terms of manifestation, but is your presence in present tense in terms of where your inner being is. You have to accept that you, over time, through all the relationships that you've lived, even those that were relationships with your own parents, even observing relationships of other people, and particularly this last relationship, you have done so much good work in poking around at the problem that you have created a magnificent solution called the relationship that you want. You have to accept the reality of it. And if you accept the reality of it, and you accept that it's over there in that vortex of creation where you've got to be, and that you can't be lonely and be a match to it, and you can't be angry and be a match to it, and you can't be resentful and be a match to it. In other words, you can't be on any kind of a campaign to push against anything and be a match to it, which means you you, as recently as this has been, can't even think about it and be in your vortex. That's the thing and so that seems sort of counterproductive to a lot of people. Wait, Abraham, my issue is a relationship and you're saying don't think about it, and we're saying don't think about it because you can't think about it in the vortex way.
Okay.
Because what's hot on your agenda right now is out of the vortex, out of the vortex. So when you pick up the stick that says relationship, oh boy, over there it goes. So you're better off to stay off that subject altogether and use anything that you can think of to keep you in the vortex, anything that you can think of. A lobotomy
I have
would be so
considered it.
beneficial to you right now. Except that it's hard to recover from those. It not only wipes out all the mean things you're feeling, it wipes out all of your ability to focus inside the vortex too. So it's too extreme. We're not recommending that. We're recommending staying off the subject as best you can. So if someone says, are you okay? You want to say, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have the ability to focus on all the wonderful things in my life. In other words, really, don't complain about it. Don't talk about it. Don't write emails about it. Don't go to those forums about it. Forget about it. Forget about it. Forget about it. Forget about it. Can you forget about it? Well, not really, but can you try to forget about it?
I'm trying. I'm not even talking to my friends or telling them what happened. I'm just going to...
Just 400 or 500 people.
On tape.
And infinite intelligence. That's all.
Can I ask a quick...
So can you see how a much more in the vortex, healthy-minded understanding of how the laws of the universe work, conversation would be? No one would ever come to these gatherings. Is that all right with you? It's all right with us. In other words, because if you come to talk about issues, then you talk to deliberately hold yourself out of the vortex.
Okay.
What you want to do is have an in the vortex fest.
Okay. So I feel like I'm almost getting addicted to Abraham, and like